up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragons, we are going to be reviewing the latest big box expansion for Saban's Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. This is Rise of the Pscyho Rangers. It is designed by Jonathan Ying and published by Renegade Games. Now, I know this is not the most recent expansion. Those are some smaller boxes. They're going to be arriving soon, so expect to see some content for them on the channel. Just provide us a good reason to get this big box to the table because, man, have we been busy as of late.
I can't believe we're reviewing another Power Rangers expansion. But that being said,
there's another expansion coming to Kickstarter next week. So we'll have another one and another one and another one because go Power Rangers!
Okay, so on that note, this is an expansion. Therefore, like the base game, it is a cooperative. The box says 2 to 5 players, but since it's an expansion, it should be 2 to 6 because automatically you can play 6 players because you have the base game. The box has a giant lie when it comes to the time. It says 45 to 60 minutes. We are pretty skilled at playing this game. I don't think we've ever played it under an hour.
I don't think we've ever got it down to 60 minutes. Now, I probably played a game where we came close to 60 minutes. Now, what I do find is if you have more players, it is going to go faster. It's just the way people are more familiar with their deck. I mean, Julie and I are constantly jumping between the 3 decks. You can see we're playing with 6 Rangers. That's just the way we like to play the game. So you will have a faster play time when you've got more people. But I still think it's closer to the 60 to 90 minutes than the 45 to 60 minute mark.
I don't think I've said it. It's also for ages 14 and above.
You can definitely play this with a lot younger players. Now, you will need to help them because the name of the game is Combo, and what's that, Julie?
Apparently combo.
Yes. That's the only way that you're going to be able to defeat the villains. So what are you doing in Saban's Power Rangers Rise of the Pscyho Rangers? Well, you do get an entirely new mode, so you may actually be playing one versus many, as one player may take on the role of the Mastermind and control the forces of darkness against the Power Rangers. Otherwise, you'll be taking on the roles of the Space Rangers. So that's right, 3, 3, 5. Let's rock it. It's Morphin Time. Power Rangers in Space, probably the best known season of Power Rangers, the one that literally saved the show. They're finally joining the game, and you'll be fighting the forces of, well, the Quantrons. Unfortunately, we don't have Andromeda or Dark Spectre's forces yet in the game. Hopefully, they will be being added soon. So you'll be going to the Surf Spot and KO35, as you must defeat the enemies and save, of course, Angel Grove from the forces of evil. Why are they always attacking Angel Grove? Why not New York City, California? Can we get some more Power Rangers worldwide or something?
On that note, I think it's time to grab our drinks.
Yep, grab our drinks.
Grab our best friends.
Yep.
Okay, take it to the table one more time.
One more time.
You get to play the girls now.
Yeah, it's fine. I like the female Rangers. They kick butt. Now we're going to take a look at the components for Saban's Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, the Rise of the Pscyho Rangers expansion. So we have a few new game boards with this, and we'll move some of them off camera after we take a look at them. So first, we've got the new replacement for the Command Center, the Astral Megaship, which has different abilities in the Command Center. It lets you perform the Strategize action as well as a Recover action. When you move to it, you can't power up. That was only at the Command Center. We do get 2 new locations. So we've got the Surf Spot with a max of 5. It also has the Assault Mode. When any Ranger moves to or from this location, they may choose one card from their discard pile and place it on the bottom of their deck. Then we've got KO35, and with regards to its Assault Mode, when any Ranger moves to or from this location, they must discard the top card of their deck. No fun. And as you saw, there was the Assault Mode side for the Astral Megaship. Now this is the new Nemesis board if you're playing with a Mastermind. Well, I don't think it's the Nemesis board. I think that's actually, I'm confusing something here. This is the Mastermind board for when you're playing with a Mastermind. So as you can see, they've got their own cards that go into the deck that will trigger. They also have their own set of nasty cards like Sap Energy. Play this card at the end of any Ranger turn in battle to drain 1. Shatter defenses. Play this card when any ranger reveals a card. For defense, remove 1 shield from the card. Toughen up. Play this card before the first turn in any battle. Attach it to any enemy card, and you increase their health by 1. So lots of nasty things that you can do with regards to attacking the players. And then you've got this battle token just to keep track as to how the cards are triggering in Mastermind Mode. Now, of course, we've got the Rangers in space, the Space Rangers, with their nemesis, the Pscyho Rangers. So I have them facing off against their nemesis. Here we've got, and we'll take a look at them first, we've got Pscyho Green, who is only featured in the comics if you're a fan of the show. So he, of course, doesn't have a nemesis. Then we've got the Quantrons, the enemies from in space that we have in the game. So as you can see, all the same, no differences between their poses. So let's take a look at our Space Rangers and their Zords. Andros, Covert Tactics, the Red Space Ranger. Once per battle, any Ranger may ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for an attack. TJ Johnson, the Blue Space Ranger, former Red Ranger. Level-headed, once per battle, when any Ranger performs an attack, they may remove up to 2 dice before rolling to add that much damage to the attack. Carlos Vallarta, the Black Space Ranger. Once per attack, if you have 2 or fewer cards in your hand, you may reroll any number of dice during the attack. And he was the former Green Turbo Ranger. Ashley Hammond, Yellow Space Ranger. Optimism. Once per battle, when any Ranger rolls a 0 result during an attack, gain 1 energy. Cassie Chan, the Pink Space Ranger, Ready to Rock. Once per battle, any Ranger may discard the top card of their deck, then choose 1 card from the discard pile and place it on top of their deck. Pretty great way to get rid of cards that you don't want. We now have their Zords. We don't have the Astro Megazord. We have the Mega Voyager. So Mega V1. Exhaust this card when any Ranger performs a maneuver or reaction, gain 1 energy, and the Ranger may place the card on the bottom of the deck instead of discarding it. Make a V2. Exhaust this card at any time. Any Ranger may discard up to 2 cards from their hand, then choose twice that many cards from their discard pile and place them in any order at the top of their deck. Make a V3. Exhaust this card when any Ranger performs an attack. There's something on the card here. Let's see if I can get it off. I'll try to do that later. After rolling, that Ranger may remove 1 die to add 2 damage to the attack. So perform an attack. After rolling, you can remove a die to add 2 damage. So if you roll a 0, guess what? You can remove it and add 2 damage. Mega V4. For the Yellow Space Ranger, exhaust this card at any time, gain 1 energy, and any Ranger may draw any number of cards. Mega V5. Exhaust this card when any Ranger suffers damage. Reduce it by 2, and that Ranger may then choose 1 card from their hand and place it on top of their deck. And Mega Voyager. When you summon this card at the start of each action phase, so every action phase, each time a Ranger suffers damage, you may remove 1 energy token from this card to reduce the damage by 3. So much more defensive Zord than we've had in the past. So let's take a look at our Space Rangers. Andros, the Red Space Ranger, facing off against his nemesis, Pscyho Red. We've got TJ, the Blue Space Ranger, with his gun, and I forget what it's called. I always forget for some reason. Facing off against Pscyho Blue. Here we've got Carlos, our Black Space Ranger, facing off against Pscyho Black. Kind of wish the Pscyho Rangers were colored. That would have been cool. Ashley, our Yellow Space Ranger, with her Star Slinger, facing off against Pscyho Yellow. And then we've got Cassie with her Satellite Stunner, facing off against her nemesis, the deadly Pscyho Pink. Those of you that have seen Lost Galaxy know what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to take a look at the Pscyho Ranger cards. Now, we have just a boss card for them, and then there are nemesis cards, excuse me, for all the Pscyho Rangers. So you've got these different Pscyho effects that will trigger, and we'll take a look at their cards. So deal 4 damage to the attached Ranger. Deal 3 damage to the attached Ranger and 2 damage to another Ranger. The attached Ranger must discard from their hand the card with the highest energy cost. The attached ranger must discard from their hand the card with the most shields. Pscyho Pink is drain 1 energy and deal 2 damage to the attached ranger. And then the attached ranger and another ranger must each discard the top card of their deck. So these are the Nemesis cards. And you'll notice we won't go through all of them in detail. If we go through all the cards, we'll be here forever. You'll see that you must resolve all Pscyho effects when you trigger these cards. And these Pscyho Ranger cards sort of go for everyone. So like drain 1, then resolve all Pscyho effects. Pscyho Assault, deal 3 damage. There are 2 or more Pscyho Rangers in this location. You deal 6 damage instead. Deal 2 damage to each Ranger and then resolve all the effects. Fast, just resolve all the effects. You also see them in their monster modes: Path of Flame, Path of Stone, Path of Frost, Path of Venom, Path of Swords, Path of Cruelty. You may also face their swords, which relates to the specific Rangers. So Pscyho Red, deal 5 damage to the lead Ranger, deal 3 damage to each Ranger. 3 different Rangers must each discard from their hand the card with the highest energy cost. 3 different Rangers must each discard from their hand the card with the most shields. Drain 2 and deal 3 damage to the Ranger with the fewest cards in their deck. And fast, each Ranger must discard the top card of their deck. So nasty stuff they're going to be getting from the Pscyho Rangers. Now here we got the cards related to the Quantrons. So just the spawn cards. So we got those for the surf spot. Of course, there's 1, 2 doubles and a triple. Then we of course have KO35, which is the same thing. 1, 2 doubles and a triple. We have the Quantron enemy cards. Just take a look at those quickly. Cyber Slash deals 3 damage unless a Ranger discards 1 card from the hand to prevent it. Drain 1 energy, and when this card resolved, the card's health value is equal to the number of foot soldiers in the location. Deal 3 damage to the lead Ranger. Deal 2 damage and then deal 2 damage. So those are the cards that you're going to get with the Quantrons. I don't think they're as tough as some of the other ones that we faced. I didn't have his Astro Axe at the back. Let's put it back down here just so we got everything looking nice and exactly the same. Let's dive into the decks for the Space Rangers. Then we're going to come at you with the how to play, just teaching you how to use a little bit this Mastermind Mode, as well as how to use the Pscyho Rangers and how to set them up in the game. So we've got the Astro Blaster, which everyone has. So play this card to allow any Ranger to ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target. And then for each energy spent, you add 1 damage to the attack, maximum 3. So you got Let's Rock It as a maneuver. Roll 2 dice and gain an amount of energy equal to the hits. Another Ranger of your choice may immediately play 1 card. So that's pretty cool. And then you can put the card at the top of your deck. Mega Drill Breaker. If this attack does not defeat a target, you may spend 1 energy to perform a second attack against the same target. That's cool. Pierce defenses, so ignoring guard. Spiral Saber. 4 dice, you may ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target from this attack. Deal 2 damage divided among your choice of targets. And then Telekinesis. So any Ranger may take the top card from their discard pile and add it to their hand. And that's a reaction like that one. So TJ, Blue Space Ranger, Astro Blaster. So he's got a Buster Rifle, which is special. So reveal the top card of your deck. The attack deals an amount of damage equal to the shields. Cosmic Cleave. If this attack defeats a target, you may place this card on top of your deck instead of discarding it. Some Precision Tactics, Strategic Defense, and it was hiding at the top of the deck. I thought about redoing the whole thing, but decided not to. So it's a special attack with this Astro Axe. Reveal the top card of your deck and 1 card from your hand. This attack deals an amount of damage equal to the total number of shields. So you want to get some high shield cards at the top of your deck if you can. So let's take a look at Carlos. Once again, an Astro Blaster. Covering Strike. His Lunar Lance. You may discard 2 cards from your hand to play this instead of paying its cost. Meteor Slash. Before rolling, you may discard 1 card from your hand to either gain 1 energy or add 1 die to the attack. Now, Moonfang Piercer is pretty cool. Before rolling, remove 1 die from this attack for each card remaining in your hand. So if you're running out of cards, the Moonfang Piercer is a devastating attack. You got Rising Moon. Draw 1 card, then choose any number of cards from your hand and place them on top of your deck. So as you can see, Carlos is going to need a fair bit of healing with things like Strategize or other abilities that let him heal. So we got the Astro Blaster for Precise Shot. 1 damage plus 1 die plus 1 damage. You can ignore guard. Love cards like that. Reaction. Play this card when someone rolls a 0 to add an extra 2 dice to the attack. For Star Slinger, 3 dice, but after rolling, choose 2 dice from the attack and deal that much damage. It's up to 2 enemy cards that are not adjacent. If you're using different Zords, you can boost that as well. Take aim. So gain 1 energy and you may immediately play another card. If the card is an attack, you may reroll any number of dice. So lots of maneuvers now that are starting to come out that are letting you play cards. I know maneuvers were not my favorite thing to play with other characters. So if you roll any 0 results during this attack, deal 1 damage to an enemy card that is not adjacent to the target. And then the last deck that we're going to take a look at as we then move on to our how to play. So we got Cassie or Comic Kick. When this card is revealed for defense, you may gain 1 energy or add 1 shield. She has a star ability similar to Zeo Ranger 5 Red. During the next Ranger turn in this battle, instead of playing a card, you may perform an attack with 3 dice, then deal 1 damage to each enemy card adjacent to the target. So that's pretty cool. Her Satellite Center, which seems like it may be overpowered, choose up to 2 Foot Soldiers cards, 1 monster card, or 1 boss card. For each card chosen, add hit tokens until it has a number of equal to 1 less than its health value. So there's some nasty monster cards. You can basically knock them down to 1 health, which is unbelievable. And you're not dealing damage. Sweeping Strike. After result is attack, deal 1 damage to an enemy card adjacent. Tough Stuff. Reaction. Play this card when any ranger reveals a card for defense. Double the number of defense on that card. Then once revealed for defense, you may spend 1 energy to add 2 shields to the card. It's pretty cool stuff. So there you have it. These are all the components. I know it took a little while. We like to do everything in detail, especially when it comes to the Ranger stuff. So now we're going to be moving on. So Saban's Power Rangers, Heroes of the Grid. Well, it just says Saban's Power Rangers on there. Rise of the Pscyho Rangers. What did you think of this expansion? Well, before you say anything, yes, I meant to say it earlier. That's why you saw it pop up. Of course, in this expansion, you're fighting the Pscyho Rangers. I mean, it's in the name of the title, so I just didn't think I needed to mention it. But just in case, I'm correcting myself.
So, what did I think of them? They're not my favorite, that's for sure. I still prefer, I can never remember their names, but...
Well, there's 2 teams that we have really enjoyed so far out of all.
Which ones are they?
Well, we have the originals, who are the, I'll let you say it.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yes. And then we had the Zeo Rangers.
I like the Zeo Rangers the best. These guys work well together. They definitely, I think, mesh better together than when we're trying to pick our favorites from every team.
Yeah, and we, just for reference, if you've never seen any of our videos before, the Power Rangers playlist will pop up. It'll also be what we're linking at the end of the video. You can see our thoughts on some of the other Ranger teams, but we really did not enjoy the Hyperforce Rangers as a team.
So, that being said, some of them are cooler than others. You know, I really enjoyed playing Carlos. I didn't think I would, but I really enjoyed playing him. And the Yellow Ranger, this one.
Ashley.
Ashley's more fun than Cassie. Cassie kind of meh.
Well, I think we've got 3 really good Rangers in this one. I enjoy, like you, we played all the different Rangers. I like Carlos. I like TJ, the Blue Ranger. I like Ashley, the Yellow Ranger. I think Andros is, well, we're not going to talk about the like the extra Tommy pack that we've got in some of those one-off Rangers, but I think Andros is by far the worst. Well, I don't know. I don't like Hyperforce Red that much either, but Andros is definitely bottom tier in terms of Red Rangers, and Cassie is definitely, I don't know. It could be that we're not getting something with some of her moves, like the orbital drop kick. She's got some nice defensive moves, but I felt like her hand was a little clogged up. I couldn't quite do what I wanted to do, and she's definitely my least favorite Pink Ranger.
Yeah. So that being said, in case this is your first Dice and Dragons, well, you'd think I'd know the name of our channel after what, almost 4 years?
Yeah, well, it's Dice and Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons, D&D. It's close. It's close.
Yeah, there's no excuse. If you haven't seen one of our Power Rangers videos before, Jason is the fan. I am not. I don't know any of them. I think I've seen maybe 2 or 3 of the original Power Rangers, and Jason dragged me to the movie when we started dating.
Hey, that movie wasn't bad. It was decent.
Okay.
Hey, it was decent. It still could have been way better. I'm not going to defend the movie. It didn't even have my favorite Ranger in it.
Okay. I would say if you love these Rangers, then I think it's a worthwhile expansion to have. If you didn't love these Rangers, I think you can skip it and do the other ones instead.
Well, I think it depends on what you're looking for, because this has the Pscyho Rangers in it. This has the entirely new mode. You have the Mastermind Mode, so if you are a huge Power Rangers fan, like in general, and you want to play the villains, you now can. You also get the new Pscyho Assault Mode, and that's another... We don't play Assault Mode, it's just, as you can see, lots of games, not enough time to go through all the different modes of the game, but you're getting a lot of value in this box, and I think every Ranger fan loves the Pscyho Rangers. They are probably the coolest villains. There's a reason why they keep coming back. They even had their own comic book published about them, and they've really tried to flesh them out as characters in the comic book universe. So I think there's definitely a lot of value in this box. And the Pscyho Rangers are really hard. I think they were probably the most challenging enemies that we've yet faced in the game.
Yeah, they were pretty hard.
When it comes to fighting them as one-offs, as nemesis, I didn't find them to be that difficult. But when you're fighting all of them and you have to take out 12 enemy cards, you got to take out 2 rows of 3 cards. It's really not easy. We really have to work together, use our powers correctly in order to defeat the Rangers. Now, in normal situation, you would always, choking on my own words here, you would exclude one of the Rangers. Probably in terms of theme, the best one to exclude is Pscyho Green, the one that's only in the comic books. But even with that, we'd still be struggling. It was a really tough fight. They hit hard, they have lots of nasty abilities, and plenty of cards that resolve the Pscyho effects, which means each Ranger gets like an extra attack on you. So not only are you taking like 2 damage per Ranger, plus the Pscyho effects, it's like, oh my god, how are we going to survive this?
We did.
Yes, because we did get the Mega Voyager. We had our Megazord. As you can see, he's over there, standing with a sword. Well, not quite the Mega Voyager, but you get the idea of the figure. And it helped us absorb a lot of the damage. Typically, we can do very well, especially with the Zeo Rangers. And Rocky was able to just murder multiple cards at the same time, which we always love. In this case, we weren't able to do it, and we really needed to use the ability of soaking damage on the Mega Voyager. Otherwise, I think we were dead.
Probably.
So what did you think of the villains overall, though, like having evil Rangers to face off against?
Well, like you said, they were tough to play against, which is nice because some of the others villains that we faced in the past have been a little meh. So
Lord Zed was really hard, and I'd say they're equal to or harder than Lord Zed. I think they might be a little harder.
Yeah. And I feel like these guys, what were they called again?
The Quantrons.
Yeah, they were a little tougher than some of the other minions I found.
Yeah, the Quantrons will definitely attack you directly. I mean, they've got a really nasty fast card, which will deal 3 damage to a Ranger, or you got to discard a card from your hand. So no matter what, when that card's going off, you're pretty much getting rid of a card. Or more than one card, and having that as their first fast card, especially when you're playing as the Space Rangers and you don't have any options like the White Rangers Flash Kick to defeat the card before combat starts, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But let's talk about how
I think what I
the individual aspects. Well, here, continue, and then
I was just going to say, I mean, I really enjoyed the fact that Carlos can play independently. He's got some... it's a little bit more challenging to play him. I don't think he's for a novice because you have to discard cards to be able to get the full power of some cards. You have to have very little cards in your hand, but he does hit hard. So I thought he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Julie already jumped into it, we're talking about the individual aspects of each Ranger, and I have to agree with you. Carlos is a lot of fun to play. The fact that you can put cards to the top of your deck with some cards, you can draw cards, you can discard cards, and then put cards on the top of your deck as well. There's just a lot of cool hand management that goes on, which really lets you play the character as a strong loner, or he's a great team support character to take out that really big Pscyho Ranger card.
I like that you can re-roll. So his ability is that if you have 2 cards or less in your hand, you can re-roll once per battle.
Yes, and let's talk about Andros.
He basically allows you to ignore guard, I didn't use the power very often because there's cards.
We use it almost every game though. Like, no, not every battle. We use it a lot more than that. Usually after we targeted a card that had guard and we forgot that it had guard, then luckily Andros was there and we were able to be like, yay! It doesn't matter, we use his ability.
Yeah. So TJ's fun because he allows another ranger basically to remove 2 dice to add 2 damage. So basically guaranteeing 2 damage.
But you're just talking about their powers right now. But let's talk about Andros' deck. What did you think of the cards in his deck? I think he has some really cool cards. I like the idea of the Spiral Saber. I feel that because maybe Zeo Blue was just a little too powerful, that they kind of nerfed it. But I was going to say, Telekinesis and Let's Rocket are just two really cool and
I also like Mega Drillbreaker, where you can basically if you don't defeat the target, you can pay 1 energy to try again, basically.
No, so he's got some cool cards. What I really didn't like though is that unlike some of the other Red Rangers, you don't really have that big damage move. I feel like if the Spiral Saber would let you hit like 2 cards for 2 damage adjacent to it, it'd just be a much better card. It just feels a little weak in comparison to other Red Rangers.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about TJ's ability to let you do extra damage. His Zord is awesome as well because it lets you remove a dice after rolling to do 2 damage. Then his Buster Rifle is really cool, and he can deal a freaking lot of damage with his Astro Axe.
Yeah, he can basically pick basically a card in your hand and use count the shields in it. And then pick up the first card of your deck. So in this case, I would add just 1. So that's a little lousy, but that's...
Oh, that's an Alpha 5 card that we left in there. Whoops, we'll have to put it back.
Okay.
Pass it to me right now.
So yeah, 2. But it still would have been 1 because it would have counted the Astral card.
But he's got a really neat card that at the start of the battle lets you put 2, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put them back in any order. So you can do some nice setup and planning with TJ, and I really think it's cool. And it works well for the character. Me being the Ranger fan, here comes like my knowledge of the series, is that, TJ was the former Red Ranger, used to be leader of the Power Rangers, became the second in command, the Blue Ranger, and you still get to see him use a lot of cool tactics, which I thought was very cool.
I think, so Ashley is the yellow, right?
Yeah, Ashley.
What I liked about her is when you roll blanks, she has cool abilities. So for herself and for other Rangers, I thought that was fun.
No, I really like the fact that you roll blanks. She can get energy, which is really cool. Her trick shot lets you do a few things like rerolling dice when you roll blanks. Also, her rapid fire is amazing because it's like, oh, you missed one? Don't worry, like, I'm shooting and backing you up. So it really works well with her Star Slinger and her ability. Her Star Slinger was probably my favorite weapon that we actually had out of all of them. We didn't use the Astro Axe that much. But you've got your one character that hits hard and then the one that can hit multiple cards. I really thought that she was just a well-balanced and well-created character. Lots of fun and definitely like top-tier Yellow Ranger. She's not Trini because she can't quite chain that crazy level of attack that you love so much, but she's got a good solid support role, but not just like supporting, protecting, and defending. She's really dealing a lot of damage. And over here, we're not going to talk about him. This is Tommy. We play with 6 Rangers. I felt like playing Tommy. He's my favorite.
I don't have much to say about Cassie.
Well, I got a lot to say about Cassie, so let's talk about her. Because what I find with Cassie is that lots of really cool abilities. However, they're just not quite there. So for example, I'm going to double check the card in case we missed something. Her card, the Satellite Stunner, is awesome. It lets you choose up to 2 Foot Soldier cards, or Monster card, or Boss card. And for each card chosen, you will add hit tokens almost to its max health, which is really cool. However, this is a stunner. Basically, you have to let another card go off and take damage. Why wouldn't this stun the cards? I think this should be a 3 energy card and just have it be like the card that you pick activates. So if you have a nasty card, you can stun it, almost kill it, but you get rid of its activation. Her Sweeping Strike was cool. I liked her Comet Kick. Tough Stuff actually came in handy later on in the game. Tough Stuff lets you increase the shield value on someone's defense card, so they potentially don't have to discard the card. Didn't come in handy early on, but it definitely is very good in monster and boss fights. But what really bugged me was her Orbital Dropkick, and I think that's the card that maybe we're getting it wrong, maybe I don't understand it. But it's a maneuver, meaning that's the card that you play. And then for your next turn, you get to make an attack with 3 dice, but you can also deal 1 damage to the adjacent cards. Now that can be pretty cool if you're trying to clean stuff up, but it's a maneuver. You're losing an entire turn to play the card, which just the way we play, at least when we're playing 6 Rangers, I can't see any reason to do that. We're just going to be taking so much more damage than we're actually going to be dealing that the card just seems like a complete waste. Similar to the Satellite Stunner, I mean, the only reason that it came in handy was we had a card with a ton of health, and it was like, we would not be able to defeat this otherwise, realistically. So we used it.
So this has been a really in-depth, lengthy review. So do you have anything else to add before we give our...
No, I think we've really covered everything. I mean, we've got the Kickstarter content. We've got some cool stuff. We're going to be diving into Villain Pack 2 next here. We've got a face-off against Louis, Kaboom, Venjix, and Gasket and Archerina. So expect some more Power Rangers content before we even get to the new stuff. The new stuff will probably be coming out, I mean, sometime later on to the back half of the year, because we're going to be taking a breather from this for Julie's sake. So, also, it's Mighty Morphin content, so we've kind of already covered it before. But what I want to say about the game, solid expansion. I really like it. Power Rangers in Space is probably at least my personal favorite Power Rangers series. Love to see the Rangers in the game. Really wish that the Rangers were a little bit stronger. I don't know if this is sort of a reaction to the fact that the Pscyho Rangers are just that good. But in any case, there are 2 big box expansions out now. There's this and Shattered Grid. Well, I do love Lord Draken. This is the box to get. It is the best of the big box expansions besides the Kickstarter box. So I give this a 7.5.
So from somebody who's not as in love with the IP as maybe Jason is, that just plays it to make her husband happy.
Hey, you like the game.
And...
Okay.
Jeez, he never lets me finish my thought.
Hey, don't attack my Power Rangers.
I'm not attacking the Power Rangers. I enjoy the gameplay. I play it for the way the game plays, but the IP really does nothing for me except that my husband gets very excited every time we play it. I would say that this is a 7 for me. I mean, it's fun to play. It's definitely not my favorite. They're definitely not my favorite Rangers, and the villains were cool to play when you played the Pscyho, but to me, I don't think they were my favorite of them. So it's still solid. It's still a 7. I mean, I hesitated. I could have given it a 6.5, but probably, truthfully, a little bit influenced by Jason's enthusiasm for this.
I also think it's because we switched characters, and when you got rid of Cassie, you really enjoyed the 3 new Rangers, because your first game you're only playing with the 2 girls, which were the 2 new Rangers, and then you were playing with the Ranger Slayer, who is awesome. So I definitely understand why you felt let down. I was not enjoying playing Cassie at all. I really don't. I don't quite get her design. Maybe I have to look up FAQs and things like that.
So on that note, it's time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content.
And take a look down below in the video description. You will find links to all of our social media feeds: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you would like to see a ton of pictures of Julie and I playing Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, there are plenty on the feed. Also take a look to our link to multizone.ca. Click the link, get 10% off your next purchase, and it's a great way for you to support the channel, as a portion of that purchase gets returned to us. So if you're looking for some Power Rangers, check them out.
You gonna put Shattered Grid here? Or are you going to put a link to the playlist?
We'll do the playlist. So in front of me will be a link to our most recently released video. Then over here, we'll have a full playlist of all of our different Power Rangers content, since there's just so much of it now. Let you pick what you want to see.
So it's time to grab our drink.
Grab our best friend and fellow Ranger. And I'm going to change it up this time.
Okay, I'm going to say, keep playing games, and Jason's going to say...
3, 3, 5, let's rock it!